Well, hi everybody.
Hello.
It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in the UK, and that means
It's time for tea.
here we go. And
Teapot.
China teapot with the tea strainer, of course. Today we're really excited because we are going to investigate some very deep mysteries, people. Greetings, lovely Timberline family, and others who are joining us as well from both sides of the Atlantic and beyond. Good to be having you with us. And as we take a little slurp of tea, we're going to investigate today issues that are of significant importance.
We are.
Mysteries that have actually laid dormant, undiscovered for many years. So, hi Cindy, good morning to
Hi,
you.
Cindy.
Good morning, lovelies. What a nice thing to say,
That is
Cindy.
lovely.
And jump on and say hello. Hello, Keith. Greetings to
Morning, Keith.
you. Is it morning or afternoon?
It's morning there.
I know it's morning there. Depends on where Keith is, really. So, but give us some thumbs up. 19 people joining us so far, and some hearts or something, and a good morning greeting, because this is live, and we are delighted to have the opportunity to join with you. Sherry, good morning. You say, always love these Thursdays. That's nice. And Karen Bauer, who I am guessing is not having hot tea right now.
No, Karen, are you having iced tea or are you having coffee?
I think it's going to be one of those two. Hi, Tracy, and hi, Margaret. Now, darling, we often hear the phrase high tea and low tea. At least we do here in the UK. Hi, Charlie and Margaret. And this is not high tea, is it?
It's not high tea.
Can you explain that?
So, when we were growing up, we would have this phrase, be home by tea time, which in today's experiences, it would be dinner time. So high tea was actually about having more of a substantial meal with meat and desserts, etc. So more of a dinner than a afternoon tea with a cup of tea and cakes and sandwiches, scones, etc. And
Right.
high tea was the fact that you would eat at a higher table, like a dining room table or
Right.
at a breakfast bar. And afternoon tea, as we know it, was called low tea because it was served on a lower table, like a coffee table or something.
I mean, that's confusing, isn't it? High tea on a higher table, low tea on a lower table. The high tea wasn't tea, it was dinner, and the low tea was served at a coffee table, even though it was tea.
Yes, I know.
I mean, this is mysterious mysteries being unfolded here. Now, we are having this afternoon tea and crumpets, and
Yes.
this is an uncooked crumpet right there. Look at that. Not really very appetising in its uncooked condition.
Well, these are toasted, although they don't look much different, to be honest, but they are very warm.
Now, notice, people, that these crumpets have got lots of holes in them, and these crumpets, it's a 1,000-year-old tradition, isn't it? Went back to Anglo-Saxon times.
Yes, it did indeed. They invented the crumpet, actually.
But it was a hard pancake baked on a griddle. But in the 1600s, people started eating these, and the idea was that all these little holes in them. Should we butter the crumpets right now? Because the idea is that you would
You have your hot one.
you would put the butter on the crumpet, and with all these little holes in the top, it sort of rather deliciously
Soaks into all the holes.
soaks down into all the holes,
Yes,
just
these
like
aren't
that.
as hot as they were.
No, they really aren't, are they? But it's good. And so, where did the holes come from?
Well, funny you should ask that question. It was in the Victorian era when they started to add yeast to the crumpets to make them more spongy. And then to get the holes on top, they didn't poke them with a needle or anything. They added extra baking powder to the dough, and that created these lovely holes. So whatever topping you decided to put on your crumpet would seep in, and then when you eat it, it all kind of runs out around your face.
I can tell you, it's so good. And growing up as a kid, I thought, where'd they get all those holes from? Maybe their job was to stamp holes in the crumpets, but that wasn't the case.
No.
Now, we now need to move on to something even more
Oh,
mysterious.
but let's ask this question. If we said this word muffin, what do you think of straight away?
Well, I mean, I actually think of a song. I don't know whether it's familiar to any, but it's that "Do You Know the Muffin Man" song. Oh, have you seen the Muffin Man?
Yeah, have you seen him?
This is music to go mad by, surely. Have you seen the Muffin Man? The Muffin Man, the aforementioned Muffin Man. And she responds to the question by saying, yes, indeed, I've seen the Muffin Man. He's down Drury Lane. But that's not good enough for this lady because she keeps on asking the same question. And you want to say, yes, we've seen the Muffin Man. So this nursery rhyme, I think we've had enough of that, haven't we? I mean, I was starting to do the moves there. The muffin is a Saxon invention, isn't it? Or is it? No, that's the crumpet. The muffin was invented.
It was called the British muffin originally, and it would be sold. Drury Lane is actually in London, and there would have been a vendor or a trader. They were called hawkers back then, and what that meant was they were mobile. They would move around the streets selling their goods, a bit like how our truffle bakery van that comes here twice a week that I've been purchasing lots of goodies from.
But then the muffin was originally, it was something that the servants ate in the houses, and it was made of leftovers, bread and biscuit dough and mashed potato, and they would fry it, and they called that a muffin. Then the people living upstairs, not upstairs here, the people living upstairs who hired the servants, they got a taste of these muffins and they said, we would really like to have some of these leftovers ourselves. And then the muffin took off as a result of that. However, this is really significant, the English muffin.
Right, but these are muffins, the British muffin.
Yeah, but there's no such thing as an English muffin, at least in England. What happened is that a man called Samuel Bath, when did he go to America?
Samuel Bath Thomas.
Forgive me. And
Samuel
when did he?
Bath Thomas.
Very important. When did he go to?
In about 1880, he moved from Plymouth, England, to New York, and he became a baker there and created what we all know as the English muffin.
But it was never English.
No, it actually was created in America.
In New York.
And it started in the US. And in fact, we do have bakeries here called Thomas Bakers. And they moved, well, actually, they were a family. I don't know if they were related to the original Thomas. They were a family who had who wanted to find out what was most popular and sent one of their sons to New York to find out what was the trend going on then. And he found this English muffin and he brought back the recipe to England and they started to produce them here.
And often here they are called American muffins.
Mm-hmm. Because they were founded in America.
So this is stunning, breaking news, people.
And do you know on their packaging, there's a saying. I tried to do a photocopy of one of the packagings, and on the package there, it talks about nooks and crannies. So, Jeff, why do you think it has nooks and crannies on the packaging?
Nooks and crannies comes from the 15th and 16th century, but these words were rather out of use. And then when they started their Thomas English Muffin campaign, they decided to use the nook and cranny saying, and suddenly it all became very popular to talk about nooks and crannies again. So, friends in America, the English muffin came from New York, and when they sell them here, they call them American muffins. I hope this news is not too devastating. Now, how did we come up with all of this mostly useless information? Well, we asked questions, didn't we?
We did.
And actually, it's interesting how ideas can quickly get into our thinking, and without challenging them, we sort of think, well, that must be it. The muffin must have originated from England like that. But it wasn't true at all. And actually, we've been asking questions about some of the words that we use around here, like dual carriageway. A dual lane highway here is called a dual carriageway. Now, think about it. We haven't had carriages for 100 years, but we still call them dual carriageways. Is there a significant meaning behind all of this? I hear you asking yourself, and indeed us. Well, just to say this, it's a good idea to ask questions and not just accept an idea simply because it's part of the popular consciousness, but to ask questions about life, about faith, exploring. I mean, being a follower of Jesus is not just about taking on board a whole load of ideas. Obviously, we accept Scripture as God's authority, but our faith, it should be robust enough for us to be able to ask questions about it and to interrogate it so that we don't just pick up ideas that are bad. We were just talking the other day, there was a saying that went around years ago, let go and let God, and everybody was using it. And frankly, it was a bit misleading because we do have a responsibility in our response to God, but because everyone was saying it without thinking, it became part of popular consciousness.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably about all we've got time for. I'm just going to scan up and down here. Phyllis says the message last weekend was meaningful. Thank you very much, Phyllis. That's very kind. And also she feels very enlightened, and we're happy about that, Phyllis. That's what we're here for breaking news. And
I think I just saw Jeannie's name pop up
Jeannie
there.
Edwardson is here from Oregon as well. And as we go out of this time together, and the Muffin Man theme is ours. Jeannie Edwardson, there was a time when we were in a restaurant together with her, and suddenly they started playing Bar Bar Black Sheep over the PA system in the restaurant, and we were like, why are they playing Bar Bar Black Sheep? And I called the server over and I said, why are you playing Bar Bar Black Sheep? It's a bit irritating because they kept playing it over and over and again. And he went off and checked the CD player and the MP3 player.
Actually, there was two lots of songs being played at the same time, if you remember.
There were, yeah.
And we thought it was very confusing.
Very confusing, and people were huffing and puffing around the restaurant, because that's what British people do when we complain. We don't actually complain, we just huff and puff and look forward to complaining. But finally, the chap came back, and it was discovered that Jeannie, who was part of our little group at the time, it was her phone playing
in her
that
bag.
song.
It was actually coming from the floor.
In her bag. The irritating song being played over and over and over again. And happily, the Muffin Man song has gone. And so are we.
To eat our crumpets.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.